He believed he was worthless because he was broken. But what he never realized was that every flower along the road was growing because of him. In a quiet, distant village, there was an old man who walked to the river every morning. Across his shoulders, he carried a long wooden pole with 2 water pots hanging from each side. One of the pots was perfect. No cracks, no leaks, not a single drop wasted. But the other pot had a long crack running down its side, and every time the old man returned home, the perfect pot arrived completely full. While the cracked pot only carried half the water, for many years, the cracked pot lived with a silent feeling of shame. It watched the other pot fulfill its purpose perfectly, while it failed every single day. As time passed, that feeling of inadequacy grew heavier inside him, until one morning, he could no longer stay silent. In a voice filled with sadness, he said to the old man, "I'm sorry. Because of the crack inside me, you only receive half the water." The old man paused for a moment, but he did not get angry, he did not complain. Instead, he simply smiled and said, "Tomorrow, I want you to pay close attention to the road." The next morning, the old man began his journey as usual, but this time, the cracked pot paid attention, and suddenly, he noticed something strange, only on his side of the road. Beautiful flowers were blooming, small colorful flowers, stretching all the way along the path, while the other side remained dry and empty. The old man slowly stopped walking, then looked at the cracked pot and said, "I always knew about your crack." A brief silence. "That's why I planted seeds on your side of the road." Then he gently continued, "For all these years, you've been watering them without even knowing it. All of this beauty exists because of you." And in that moment, the cracked pot felt something he had never felt before. Not sadness, not shame, but understanding. And yet, he still didn't feel peace immediately, because for years, he had only seen himself from one perspective, the perspective of not being enough. And that's exactly what happens to people too. Sometimes, we spend years trying to hide parts of ourselves, fear, weakness, sensitivity, old failures, or wounds nobody else can see. We believe our value comes from perfection, but the truth is, the warmest people are often the ones who have known pain, and the people who understand others the most are usually the ones who are broken themselves. The old man never tried to fix the crack because he understood something important. Some things are not meant to be hidden. They simply need to be used in the right way. In that moment, the cracked pot finally understood the truth. He was never less valuable than the other pot. He simply had a different purpose. And from that day on, the water continued to fall along the road, but this time, the cracked pot no longer felt ashamed, because he finally realized that some cracks do not reduce our value. Sometimes they reveal the very reason we exist. Some people spend their entire lives trying to appear perfect, hiding their weaknesses, running from their mistakes, hating the broken parts inside themselves. But sometimes, the very thing you are ashamed of today may be the reason something beautiful grows tomorrow. You may not be perfect. You may not be like everyone else. But that does not mean you are without value, because somewhere you may already be creating beauty without even realizing it. Don't judge yourself by the broken parts inside you, because somewhere, someone may be living in the beauty they created.